Good afternoon. Welcome. Glad you're here. So I was going to kind of do this on a different day because I had some family stuff that was just going on, but I decided let's just do something, just some chat. I know there's lots of things going on out there, people doing lots of different things. As a matter of fact, I was just looking up some information, and I first want to say hello. Thank you so much for showing up. Glad you're here. Nice to see you guys. Right now in Oregon, it's pretty warm. I will tell you. Wherever you're at, could you just let me know kind of the area and what your temperature is, what you're dealing with? I'm going to see if I can remember how to do this. I always screw this up. Share the screen. We're going to go to a Chrome tab. Or a window. No, that's not what I want to do. So right now, well, hello, the Gay Rancher. That would be my son. Thank you for popping in, Alex, Brent. It's 91 degrees. Now, Richard, my hubby, just walked in and said it was 100. But the gauge that we have outside is very old, and it's off because I've checked with a number of different organizations, and I'm with I'm on the National Weather Service, and I'll go with them over the 100-year-old thermostat or thermometer outside. It's 91 degrees right now, and I was thinking, so I'm going to do some canning this week, and I was talking with my niece-in-law about what might be a good day. Let's try to find a day that it's not super hot, because we can't really have the air conditioner going in the kitchen and canning, because I'm a new canner, but it is my understanding I will destroy my canning process because very likely the jars will break. So we're looking at this afternoon getting as high as 96, tomorrow 86, 86, 82, and 84. So mid to low 80s this week. You know, I can kind of live with that if I have to. And right now I have to. So we're going to, I'll go ahead and we'll schedule a day to do the canning, which I'm going to talk a little bit about what kind of canning I'm going to do. So let me go back here to my StreamYard. Where did my StreamYard go? There you are. Oh, cool. So first in the house was Tumbleweed RV Live from Regina, which is in Canada. And I know that's where Paula lives as well. And we've got following the Yellow Brick Road. Hello, Shirley. Jacksonville 90. So you're about us. Hilda DC, welcome. Thank you for coming. Nate Dog, thank you for coming. Nate Dog Karaoke. Yes, sir. And we have Box Van D. Thank you. And I was watching your video about how you take care of yourself. And then my family arrived and I had to help them out with some stuff. So I didn't get to finish it, but I will be finishing that. And then we have Kaylee. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you saw this. I didn't really have time to give you a text real fast to make sure you knew. So glad you're all here. Glad you're here. 92 degrees where you're at, sweetie. Wow, wow, wow. So yes, you know, we're all kind of in the same. And I would venture to guess, let's see, Box Van D, how hot is it in Quartzsite? It's probably about 115. And I'm not joking. I think it's probably about 115 where you're at. I'm so glad you have AC. I don't know how anybody lives there without AC. I bet they don't. My suspicion is nobody is in Quartzsite, Arizona that doesn't have air conditioning. Anyways, that's what's going on here for our weather, in our projected weather. So I was thinking about today what to do. I did not, I wasn't feeling well yesterday, and I was down most of the day. So I wasn't sure I was going to be doing a live stream today, and I didn't have a prepared topic. I know what I wanted to do it on. Hello, Linda from Linda's Prepper Kitchen. Thank you for stopping by. Glad you're here. Just kind of talking about the whole ball of wax. And I know most of you know how we got here, how I got to YouTube. I think Linda's likely, and maybe Hilda might be the only other one who does not know how we came to be on YouTube. And I say we because it started out to be my husband and I. Your Central A broke down about a week ago. God, oh my gosh, Kaylee. So our central air broke down in the house about a year ago. And I just do not have the money to get a new heat pump. And so we've got strategically placed ACs in the windows. And it is, I couldn't live without, I could live without it, but I would not be a happy camper. And I don't think anybody would like me. So tell me if I'm right, Linda. So I was talking about some canning that I want to do, that I'm going to do this weekend, or this week, probably tomorrow. I can't really, so I've got an AC in the window of my kitchen. And my understanding is that I cannot or should not can with an AC going. Am I right? I don't know for sure, but I just want to be sure to the best of my ability about that. And it is directly in the kitchen window. So if you know the answer to that, I'd love to hear it. So how we got here on YouTube is I have no idea. So we originally, I was recovering from a surgery. I started watching YouTube videos because I was in bed. I was in bed for the better part of a year. And I watched a ton of videos about, I thought, like smaller living, or you lived in the desert for 5 years with no AC. I bet you did. I bet you did think you were going to die. And the cats, absolutely. The cats, my dog, the old dog, well, the big dog would be upset right now too if we didn't have any AC. So we started out because I thought, I found Bob Wells, and if you don't know who Bob Wells is, if you're not in the travel community, Bob Wells is for me, and probably for most or many people who are in the travel community, for me, he was the cornerstone, the hinge pin, what's it called? The linchpin cornerstone of information of why I wanted to become a travel person. I actually wanted to see, here's what I thought, and this is how ignorant I was about this, is I thought I wanted to get another Grand Caravan, or one of the big GMC vans that's like a 15-passenger van, rip everything out and build out in there, and for Richard and I to travel around and see the country, which I've never been able to do in that manner. As long as you're maintaining PSI, don't see why you can't have an AC on your house. Okay, all right. I'll read a little bit more about that, but that's better to know. I'm hoping that that's absolutely correct, but I trust you. I mean, I do trust you. So, but I'll do, as everybody says, do my own research, and I have been doing that. So I ran across Bob. I fell in love with his reasoning for living out of his, I think it's a GMC vehicle at the time. And why pay all the money that there is to maintain a house if you're renting? If you're buying a house and paying, God only knows what today for that. So I fell in love with it. I fell in love with him and his whole attitude. Hello, Priscilla. Glad you saw my message on our family page. Yes, he first started out in a box truck up in Alaska. And so So anyways, I fell in love with his philosophy about why to live on the road, because you get to see everything. There's constantly, as much as you want anyways, a new backyard or front yard, if you will, whether it be the mountains or the hills or the desert or Yellowstone. So wherever you want to be, New Mexico 1 month and Maine the next month and Arizona the next month, you could be. And I thought that's what I wanted to do. It's literally, I really foolishly did some things. So anyways, I won't go into that whole story, but I decided that's what I was going to do. And I started researching, was able to get an RV, a small RV, a 25-foot Class C RV. And hubby and I set out on our first adventure. We went to Quartzsite, Arizona, and so I started doing YouTube videos many months before that. Many months before that, in our effort to be out on the road. So that's what I was using YouTube for, was learning and connecting with other travel channels. And I really, as it turns out, it's not quite that simple. I do know today it's not quite that. It's not as simple as you just sell your vehicle, the only vehicle you got, in order to help buy your RV. It's not that simple. And by the way, that's kind of foolish. It was for me anyways. It really was. So I was impulsive and I just was single-minded. So I loved it. We went to Arizona. We spent 7 weeks. We came home. I cried. I was depressed with the rain. I was, all these things. But I found out also that I missed being home. I have a family here. I have a fairly large family. I only have one child. Well, he's 33, but he's still a child to me. And I missed my little sister, who is on here. Most of you know Priscilla is my little sister. And so, yes, Dee, I am someone who's had to learn every single thing I know the hard way. There's nothing I learned easy. Nope. And so, but I did fall in love with that whole community of people. And while I've been working on trying to build my prepper channel, my preparedness channel, I'm not spending as much time in the other channels. I just don't know how to split my time completely. And so I miss y'all. I miss those channels. So I have started going back a bit more in order to just say hello, to spend a little bit of time in someone's live stream or watch some of their videos. But it's really, as anybody who's worked on a channel knows, it's very hard to start with. And now adding another element to this channel of travel, of preparedness is combining the two is also a challenge. So, Carolyn's Life, Bob Wells and Carolyn's RV Life are the first channel. So she is one of also the first ones I watched too. I ran Nomadic Ramblers and they became my go-to for information. And haven't you traveled with them? Don't spend some time with them, if I remember correctly, in some of your videos. So I have to say that I have learned a lot of lessons, and then COVID happened and we decided to stay home, and we had to take care of physical issues, which we've been, working on while we've been home. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, so I will tell you that I've learned many things, and I think that the two are necessary to coexist, because if we were traveling, as people are now starting to do in the travel community, like Box Van D and Bob Wells as well, is starting to address preparedness, because I would think it's even more important for travelers. And now, Box Van D, I know that you are stationary for the most part right now. You have a place where you live, and you plugged in and all that. But you live in a small space, and so you have to really think about, I would think, if it were me in my Class C, where would I put my back stock of things like paper towels or toilet tissue. Or, by the way, I've learned a lot of things about toilet tissue. You don't have to have toilet tissue. There's other ways to do it. Yes, there is a preparedness channel, Rain Country. Wonderful preparedness channel. She is fabulous. And she makes perfect sense. And I've even cut these old sheets up into squares. Well, pretty much torn them up, but I'm not I'm not a cutter. I'm more of a let's tear it up kind of girl. And so I have done that. You know, what if we came to a point in time when we didn't have access to toilet tissue as we know it, because there, you know, I don't know, maybe there comes a time when it isn't available, or the only kind that you can get is the kind that's like gone in the same day you open it up. Never have enough space, but you make it work. Yeah. So one person, with one person, it would be, I think, obviously a little bit easier. So then I realized, so we were going to plant a garden. It did not get to happen. I have to tell you, I've shed many tears. My son has seen me cry, and I did not get him anything planted into the planters. Kaylee, I know that you've mentioned that to me. That's my own barrier and my own fault. Okay. Extra paper towel stuff's in the cubbies and yes. Now we don't have that. We have one place outside of our camper, but it definitely rags, cloth. Yep. So if I had to, I could do it. I mentioned it to my son. He's having none of it. Well, that'll be his own issue then, because what if I don't know what's going to happen in the future, and I'm not going to pretend to guess either. I believe anything is possible right now. Personally, I think anything is possible, and I don't, you know, I'm not panicking or hysterical. I don't have that sense in me at all, but I do believe anything could happen. So anyways, I definitely know that there is a place where both things are necessary. And so also I thought, well, being home in the home base, we could plant the garden. The garden just did not happen. It did not happen. And I have felt like a loser to the core for that, but it's just me and how I am. If I don't meet my goal, then that's the kind of bull crap self-talk that I do. And I know it's not true. So anyway, I'm thinking that we'll probably have good weather clear up until January. Could probably still do some tomato plants and pepper plants. I wanted tomato plants, pepper plants, some zucchini, you know, I just wanted some very big onions. And so I am looking at this afternoon. One of the things I'm going to be doing is looking at what we could plant for winter garden that, you know, would come up in the winter time. I guess that's what you call your winter garden. Never have we planted winter garden before. So I don't know anything about it. And we are in the Pacific Northwest. I think everybody knows we live in Oregon, Eugene, Oregon. We're right in the Willamette Valley. It is a big growing area, huge growing area. So it was I knew that it had been sometime in the 1800s, but I thought it was later than that even. I bet it was expensive for the times. I bet you most people in 1857 thought, what a waste. Our ancestors came here to this area in 1856 on wagon trains. I think it was 1846. If the gay rancher is still in here, my son, if you could tell me when I think it was oh my gosh. So they came here on wagon trains. I could only imagine what they thought of it. Truthfully, I suspect they thought we were just foolish. I know. I don't really. It crosses through my mind. So, because I have plans, and then when they don't work out, I have to be careful with plans. And you know, in my recovery program, I was taught that one of the worst things I can do is have. So it's one thing to have a plan, not to have them like be too in stone. Don't put them in stone, because unmet expectations are one of the first places that most of us end up kind of going sideways. Or some of us, those of us who have the propensity for that to happen, can go sideways as an unmet expectations. And I've, you know, a history of that. Okay, Dee, thank you for coming by. See you later. So anyways, that's how, so then I started looking at preparedness, prep. I don't even know that the word prepping came up. I believe that what came up was, I was looking at gardening or something along those lines, and preparedness came up. And then I thought, well, of course. And then I started watching Alaska Prepper. I found Linda's Prepper Kitchen early on, and I also found one of my other favorites is Patera, the Appalachian Homestead with Patera. Found that very early on, and I always thought I wrote her a message on there. I said, "You're my oh, what is it called? You're my spirit animal." Because she was like really fired up this one day talking about stuff, and I'm like, that's my spirit human. So anyways, there's so many good ones, just a ton of good ones. Rose Red Homestead, that woman is more information than my brain can actually assimilate easily, because she is so smart and she is so intellectual, and she's a scientist. You know, she does everything from science, and she's been doing it a long time. So anyways, I definitely stumbled into both communities, but I believe I was meant to be learning these things. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of the work that each community, so whether it was in the travel community or it's in the prepping community, the food prepping community, I've learned more stuff than I expected to, and it's stuff that I needed to know in what the times we're living in. So, which brings me to, I thought I would go. Yeah, I love science too, Kaylee. I love science too. I used to not, but in reality, everything from what I can tell in life, and having been here for 60 years and having failed math most of my young life, all of my young life, everything comes down to two things, math and science. As it turns out, math and science, those are two things that we that we all really do need to know. And when I did do I started getting an inkling of math at all is through cooking, by the way, baking specifically, because cooking, you don't really need as much math, but in baking you do. You do need to understand what 1 teaspoon is, or 1 tablespoon, or how the two compare. I've seen people make the mistake of inverting the two, putting in 1 teaspoon of sugar when they needed a tablespoon of sugar, or 1 tablespoon of baking soda when they only needed a teaspoon of baking soda. You see, so it is a precise process of food preparation, Kaylee. Yes, and I loved baking for my dad when I was a little girl. His favorite cake for a long time was German chocolate, and so I would make German chocolate cake from scratch. Well, I would get the box cake, but I would make the frosting from scratch once I learned how to make the frosting, so to speak. I don't know if you really call it a frosting, but it's a frosting of sorts. So that is Van City Adventure. Welcome. Glad you're here. Nice to see you. So is there anything that y'all are doing to prepare in any way for just whatever? Even if it's just for, well, let me start with this question. Has all of the things that have been going on caused you to stop and think about, am I prepared for if there would be, let's say, we end up in a direct conflict with another country, whether it be helping the Ukraine out directly, boots on the ground, or if it were to be in a conflict with China or Russia or Timbuktu. If we ended up in a conflict with them, what do you think you would need in order to feel prepared enough that as long as it wasn't on our shores, which I don't know how that would not happen eventually, but no problem, Dee. Thank you for coming back. I'm glad you're here. So, and if you guys want to share out the stream, let people know we're here. I did do this on the kind of on the spur of the moment. It would be very nice to get a few more people in here if possible, see what we can do in a conversation about these things. So yeah, if there's, or Canada, I mean, that makes me chuckle. I don't see it. Don't see it. There are friends. Or so yeah, if there's something that you have been doing, even just on the small scale, yeah, cute, oh, cute. Even if there's something you've been doing on a small scale in order to prepare yourselves, your families. So one of the things that in the preparedness community that's talked about is a bug out bag. And I've always said okay, so I'm not going far with my walker. And to go any distance, I do need my walker. And so my bug out bag is an RV. I'm just saying, my bug out bag is an RV. It's never going to be that I can walk away from here. I could walk a little distance, maybe a block without my walker. I could maybe go a block, and then I would have to stop for a while and go another block. So it's going to be a long walk wherever I would go. I already know at this time where I would go, a bug out location. And luckily it's not even far, but it is a good location because it is on a ranch, kind of up in the foothills, not far from here. And it is a 15-minute drive. And most of that is up a long, long gravel driveway. There's 2 gates to get back inside of it. And so I feel very confident, and I would feel very comfortable if we had to go there and be somewhere for any event. So we've had in our area, not right where I live. Yes, we should be nice to Canada. We have people in Canada that we love. And we don't want them, if we make them mad enough to turn against us, the danger would come from them, but from elsewhere. Once it's known our Canadian friends have had it with us. Well, and because I just don't see that ever happening, Kaylee. I really don't. That's not something I see. Being spiritually and emotionally prepared for me is the most important thing. Otherwise, that's true. So I'm glad you mentioned that, spiritual and emotional preparedness. So is there anything that you think would help with that process, Dee? That really is important. And I also, many people don't even think about the spiritual preparedness. But first and foremost for me, I trust that there is a God of my understanding that I feel comfortable, loves me enough to, if I'm willing to listen, to be given direction from. I know it because I've experienced it. I have been in a couple of situations where I almost cost my nephew and niece their life when they were little kids. Well, their mom too, okay? It wasn't just me, but we took them on a long hike when they were little, about 4 and 6, and it started raining. It was at Silver Creek Falls outside of Salem here in Oregon, and so we almost killed them. It started raining and nobody was prepared. So I had one hanging from my back and one in my arms. So nope, not your kids. They were Annette's kids. They were William and Jennifer. And let's see, I've heard people say bad things about Canada, but none of it's fact-based. Why would anyone be nasty to Canada? I haven't been there yet, but I've always thought of them as our much loved. I agree, Kaylee. Now, I will tell you, I'm not a fan of the government of Canada, just like I'm not a fan of ours. However, I don't live there. I don't vote them in. So I can't really complain about them because they're not they don't have any effect on my life, so to speak. So I'm not gonna bitch about them because they're not a threat to me. They don't, no issue there. However, if I lived there, I probably would vote differently. And I don't really know how they work. Yeah, I don't know why there'd be hatefulness in Canada, truthfully. No clue. Hatefulness is a whole other ballgame. Every government has policy problems, and that's just how it is. And all countries have people that think differently. All right, Dee, glad you stopped in. So all countries have different things going on, and that is how it is. And there's no way to avert that. There's no way to avert that. I cannot believe I just grabbed a piece of ice to chew on while I'm on screen. I'll swallow it real quickly. So anyway, I kind of just lost my train of thought. I don't know why. I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so all governments, have ways they could make things better. But if you're voted in, you're voted in, and people have to just deal with it. You just deal with it. For the amount of time that person is in office, unless it's, something you can impeach them for, and you have an impeachment process, then we're just stuck with it and live with it. And eventually the pendulum always swings. It swings right to left and left to right. So switching gears here for a second, I'm going to bring up on the screen. I'm going to share this with the screen. We'll look at some stuff about RV travel. All right, so Forest River has had to recall 49,000 motorhomes and towables. That cannot be fun, and that's got to be expensive. Got Winnebago recalling some trailers. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Ford chassis recall. Now that would be on an RV, that would be on like a Class C or a Class A. Could be if there's any on a Class B. And here's something super cool. I did see this. Walmart is adding many stores to campgrounds. I'll tell you what, whoever came up with this at Walmart came up with $1 million winner chicken dinner. Let's see. I'll just read a little bit of it. A Walmart store at your campground? Are we kidding? Nope, it's happening. But technically, we're not telling the honest to goodness truth. The fact is, the stores will soon be opening at glamp grounds, not campgrounds as we know them, where our RVs are welcome. There is more money these days operating a campground or a glamp ground with tents and tree houses and other stationary abodes. But a tip, if you can find someone to bet, you might wager that Wally World will export the mini store idea to campgrounds where you and I might actually stay. So here's the scoop for now. For now, based primarily on highlights from the press release. The retailer giant is partnering with health and wellness hospitality company Getaway to help make enjoying nature more convenient for travelers. As part of the alliance, Walmart will open many retail experiences at select Gateway destinations. It says the general store by Walmart will make its debut in August at Gateway Hill Country in Wimberley, Texas, with additional locations to open at the end of the year. They're going to include seasonal products from Walmart and curated by Gateway. The featured items may include hiking gear, leisure activities equipment such as Fujifilm cameras, Lodge cast iron skillets, yay, Pendleton outdoor blankets, and Burt's Bees lip balm, to name a few. For the next 6 months, at the time of check-in, guests will also receive welcome kits, which will include ingredients to make the iconic camping treat, s'mores. Wow. So now, what do you think of that? What do you think of that? I know, what a good idea. I'll tell you, some of these people, marketing, if you are good at marketing, I'll tell you, that is something that to get into. And whoever thought of this, I will be honest, they need to have an upgrade in their pay. I do think that that was super smart, super smart. And let's see, what else do we have here in camping news? So this is a cool newsletter, by the way. You can get, so anybody can get this. It is RV Travel News, and I get one every week. I get, I think, 2 a week, and lots of information, tips. Also, you can get booklets. Like, I don't think I can get to one right that easy, but on any state that you want to go, that you're going to be traveling in, and they're free. And I really like that. There's some more information about lifestyle. Look, check out this 2-story trailer here. Look at that baby. A Spartan. I believe I saw a video on this, but I don't know, I don't know that it does have tires on it. So it does travel, but I don't know how you would, I don't know. It looks like it's made that way. Yep, I did see this because I saw it it was on YouTube. I did see it on YouTube. So that is really, I'm going to keep that up because not on here, but I'm just going to keep that because I want to go back and look at that again. So there's just so many things in this particular newsletter. If you are an RV traveler, certainly something to take a look at. Amish bread, zucchini and squash au gratin. Oh, wow. Now that looks good, Priscilla. That looks really good. I actually have some I bought yesterday. I bought day before yesterday, and I think I might make that for dinner tonight. And if I had some meat, so here's what I would also do. If I had some meat, I would saute, like that would be really good with some, I have some beer brats that already have beer flavor, and I have some regular Italian ones, sausages. So that would be really good in there. So this is, I do recommend this magazine highly. It's just got so many things available. If you're interested in it, it is online, and it is rvtravel.com. Camping Therapy. Hello, Doreen. How are you doing this evening? RV Grandma, thank you for stopping by. It comes out Saturday and Sunday, plus they have, so you read it too, have a daily newsletter. Hints. I knew I get it more often. I don't always get to look at it, and they do have a wealth of information on that site. Tremendous amount of information on that site. All right. So that was very interesting. I love that particular. I look at it on Saturdays or Sundays, whichever day I'm able to. And I did it again. I took ice into my mouth. I need to swallow. So what are, I know that I believe, Doreen, I just watched you a couple of days ago, I believe, and you're going to be going to a rally here in a couple weeks. What I'm going to do is, if I can remember how to do it, I'm going to drop a link in the, I meant to do this too when Dee was here, because I wanted to ask her a question. I thought it might be easier for her to explain it herself than just have it. So I'm dropping a link. If you'd like to come up and talk about what's going on your channel, what you're looking at doing, or just come up and say hi. I would love to have you come up. And by the way, Priscilla and Kaylee, both of you, you could still come up, and I can make it so that there is an icon, or you can make it so that your icon is up instead of your picture. Camping by yourself this coming weekend, vintage rally on the 25th in Georgia. I'm eating and not YouTube presentable. I wasn't YouTube presentable a few hours ago. I wasn't going to do this. I knew I had a family thing happening. I had to deal with this afternoon with my niece. I know I shared on here, I think last week, and I've got a niece who is in prison, and drug related, yes, and trying to get information. She has a condition. She has cancer, and she has a tumor on her brain. And we were talking about whether or not she would have surgery in prison. Well, while she's in prison, she would go to a regular neurosurgeon and they would take care of it. But it isn't easy. Being in prison is not easy to start with. She doesn't have an income in order to be able to buy special things for herself, because she can't work right now while she's in there. The job that she had, she can't do anything right now. You need I will tell you, I do too. I have reservation for Richard and I at I'm going to look it up while we're on here, because I can look stuff up while I am talking to you, and you'll see me at a non-campground campground. It's only about 8 spaces. It's owned by a logging company, and it is, or by a mill, excuse me, it's owned by a mill. And I don't think she's really sick, Priscilla. She's very, very sick right now. 30, so that's about where this is from me too. 35, about a half an hour from my house. And if all of the things that are supposed to be done on my RV are done, we're going to go for 4 days to this non-campground campground. So I don't know when she thinks she's going to be able to start, but she was extremely ill. you could just hear it. Her respiratory is all messed up, and she's pretty sick. So anyways, that's what I was doing. I was talking with my niece. Her brother was here, and oh, she's sick today, Priscilla. She said that if she hadn't got up for breakfast to eat, then she would never have seen her name on the board for a virtual visit. So luckily we can do virtual visits, and so anyways, so I'm excited. So anyways, I'll talk to you a little bit about that. I'll call you later, Priscilla. So yes, it's northwest of me. It's in the Coast Mountains, down in the foothills of the Coast Range, and it is it's a very quiet place. And so we have to go online, or actually I had to get the phone number and call them. Can't even do it online. I had to call them and reserve it. And I reserved it, I think, for 3 nights. And that's my goal, is I just really want to go so bad. And I really don't want friends. I think I would just be very happy if it's me and Richard, and we can go and just be there and really not talk to anybody. Because if y'all remember the last year's Oregon meetup that happened with Gina and there were several people. It's in that same neighborhood. It isn't there, but it's in the same neighborhood. I'm gonna find it here. I'll tell you here in a minute, Priscilla. Oregon campground owned by a mill. Not the Mill Casino. All right. It might not be too quiet going to Davy Crockett Days. Oh, I bet it's not going to be too Crockett or too quiet. I'm just guessing. I would think there will be some noise. Old time. That would be so fun. I don't think Oregon is allowed to do. Oregon allows people to do anything to do with old times. I'm just saying. Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't think Oregon allows their people to do anything like that. Yeah, it's a horrible thing. So I have on my phone, I have all of the and let's see, travel. It says travel there. I don't know if you can see it. Anyways, travel, and I use free campsites. I believe that's the way I found this particular campsite. 97404. All right, now it will show me. Well, that's weird. It says it doesn't know of any campsites within 100 miles. And I happen to know Repurposed Adventures. Welcome. Are we friends? I'm going to write your name down. Actually, what I'll do here is I will go to YouTube and I will put your channel in. And I'm going to recommend something here in a momente. Una momente. I barely speak English. I certainly cannot speak Spanish. All right, let me go back here to StreamYard. And I'm going to Repurposed Adventures. Repurposed Adventures. We are friends. All right. Well, I'm going to leave your channel up here so that I can go watch something later on after my live stream. So I'm going to put a banner up as well. So I'm glad you stopped by. That's my point. I'm glad you stopped in. I'm going to put up a banner. And if you don't know somebody, if you see someone here that you don't know, please note down who they are. Even if you want to run over there and say hi to them and then go back and watch a video and make some Old Mill RV Resort. No, this is actually near, okay, now it's driving me crazy. I guess I better find it so that I can go to the right place. That would be very helpful. So if you don't know each other, please make the connection if you want to. Go check out their channel, each other's channels, and say hi. Let them know that Butter, B-U-T-R, sent you. And yeah, that's a good, that's what I did. Okay, I don't know how you all did it, but I did it that way. And I dropped a link earlier in this. I'll drop it again. If you would like to come up and introduce yourself, or anybody has anything to say about their channel, or any news that you think somebody might benefit from, we would love and welcome you to come up and say hi. I'm going to try this one more time because I happen to know I found this a certain way. Maybe it's RV Parky. RV Parky is another one that I've used. Okay, 97404. All right, so this is giving me some. It is west of Junction City, Priscilla. Traveling Granny. Well, hello. How are you doing? Are you traveling right now? So yeah, if you don't know somebody, please go check them out. I'm trying to find a place. It's out near Horton, Priscilla, but it's not Horton Pond. It is another place, and it's owned by a mill. Yep, Horton is west of Junction City. This is just driving me batty. Small campground owned by a mill in Oregon. Help me. Small campground owned by a mill in Oregon near Alsea. Oh. Private campground owned by a mill in Western Oregon. Well. How come people don't put this back? Brent wants that thrown away. Really? He said there was mold on that bread. There is. Okay. Bye-bye bread. Well, I'll find it. And you know what? Then I'm going to post something about it because now it's making me crazy. So it's just a small place, and it's just, it is going to be quiet. It's not, there's not a lot that's going on there. Let's see if this is Old Miners Meadow. No, Old Miner. Right next to the diner. It is, nope, this isn't it. Old Miners is not it.
Nope, that ain't it.
The milk is, no, this is, no, it is not the Mill Casino. This is literally a, just a very small campground owned by a mill, and they've designated an area. Okay, Priscilla, go. I know you'll be able to find it because you can really focus on it. And so, oh, Garibaldi is north on the coast, way up north on the coast. No, this is really about just within 30 minutes. And I'm so looking forward to it. So I need to make sure that our RV is finished is I guess what I need to do also. And I don't know if my nephew is on here or not. I don't see him. It is boondocking, Doreen. We will be boondocking, but we do have 360, is it 360 watts of solar, Richard?
600, oh, no, I don't know what.
Was 320 or
600.
325 each. So 650 watts of solar. However, we need the second coat of paint put on the top of the RV, and then Richard and my nephew are going to rewire the solar back through and get it hooked up, which is not a big deal. That's really truthfully not going to be a problem. It's been hooked up before. So this will be the first time we've been able to use it hooked on our RV though. So that's the deal. It's the first time it will be hooked on our RV that we got to use it. And so I'm excited about that. I really, really, really want to be able to do that. So we were talking a little bit about if you're traveling and you are, is anyone on here a full-time traveler? I know, electric for AC. Yep, I know. And I have no illusion that there's no plugins here where we're going at all. And it's close enough that if there was an issue, we could come home, no big deal. But I really miss camping. I did, my puppy needs in. Come on, Biggie, come on. I really did fall in love with that. Mill Pond Recreation Site at Adelaide, Oregon. Mill Pond Recreation Site. Mill Pond Recreation Site. Let me double check. In Oregon. It's not BLM land. It is it is owned by a mill, and so it's not. I see here. I'm looking at what I'm looking at. It's this place is owned by it's public land. So no, this isn't it. That would be nice if it was. Maybe Priscilla has found it. So if you're traveling full-time, Salmonberry Campground by Alcee, that might be, let me look at that, Priscilla. For those of you who don't know, Priscilla's my little sister. Salmonberry Did it say that it was owned by a mill, Priscilla? Because this specifically says it's owned by a mill, and I had to call the mill in order to, although this looks, I think this is too big. There's only like 8 sites. There's only like 8 campsites. So I don't think that that is right. I'll find it, and then I'm going to, nope. Yes, Kaylee, I called them, I talked to them, and that's where I made the reservations. And it is owned by them. They have just, I don't know if it's in memory of someone who, you know, used to own the company that passed. I will, Doreen. Yes, I will. No, we're not. We're planning to meet up with me and Richard. Okay, we have not been camping since we have been back, and that's been a year and a half. This January will be 2 years, and so lumber mill. It's owned by a lumber mill, Kaylee. That's what it is owned by, a lumber mill. Yeah, not a pay, but just a lumber mill in the foothills of the Coast Range on the west side or on the east side of the Coast Range. So no, we are, Elaine, we are going, I found a place where we can go boondock. It is a small campground owned by a mill, and you have to call there and make the reservation right directly with them. And I've got it scheduled for 4 nights at the very end of the month. So I will for certain, I will for certain know where I'm going by that point. But Doreen, yes, I learned my lesson, and I don't have it sitting beside me, which I usually do if I'm talking about traveling, but I have my atlas, my big travel map book. Thank you very much. I mean, I can't get out there soon enough. And so I wish we were planning to meet up. That would be really cool. Silwood Coastal Mining. That just does not sound familiar. Salewood Coastal Mining. South Coast Lumber. Well, it's not really the South Coast. Where does it say that it is, Kaylee? South Coast Lumber Company. So have you guys been to any place unusual, I guess, or, you know, fun? Or have you ever gone camping someplace, done your camping someplace that was kind of out of the norm like this, being owned by a lumber company? You know, it's not the norm. What was the name of that again? South Coast Lumber Company. I'll see if that's it. I'll know it when I see it. Nope. No, Brookings is way south on the coast. And this lumber company is actually not on the coast. It's in the foothills of the coast. So no, that's unfortunately not it. I wish it was, and we brought an end to this. But Metcalf Sawmill. I don't know the name of the mill, Priscilla. I really didn't think it was. I know that I got it through. I know I got it through one of my travel, you know, apps. Maybe U.S. Public Lands. Let me put in the zip code. Priscilla, what's your zip code out there? If you don't mind putting it in here. I'm just going to go ahead and put in my 904 because you and I are basically not far apart in our zip codes. All right, so I know that it's north of Monroe, but west. And none of you would know that except for my sister, what that even means. I didn't know it, but there's a Paris, Oregon. That's interesting. I see it on my map. It must be true. Well, hello, Fairy Dust. We're trying to find where we're camping at the end of this month. And I have forgot the name of it, but I will find it by the time the end of the month comes. I'm going to check one place where I might have how mill site RV. Nope. Google the phone number. That would be a good idea. If I had that information right here that I knew was for certain. I'm going to go. I know what I'll do. I've got it. This is just really foolish of me to be. Let's see if I saved a. I'm just going to go here and put in camping in my mail and see if. Nope, it's not. I'm going to put in the word mill, see if I saved. No, dang. I might have saved something in, I wouldn't have put it in YouTube. Now this is just ridiculous. Okay, this is a note to myself for future reference. I'm not sure exactly how to phrase it, but make sure you know where you're going. Especially when you're supposed to travel there. Maybe it's impersonal. Nope. Projects. RVs. Nope. Save. They must have sent me something. Oh, good Lord. All right. Well, I am not seeing anything about this in my mail. So have you all, any of you camped Whole Oaks Lumber Company in Monroe? Well, let me see if that might be. Whole Oaks Lumber Company in Monroe. Let me go to their website and see if there is a campground associated with them. Nope. It was right on their website. So it exists, and I will find it. Hubert K. McBee Campground. Now that might be it, Priscilla. Hubert K. H-U-B-E-R-T. Hubert B. McKay. Let me get that name again. Hubert K. McBee. Hubert K. McBee. I think you're right. Yep, this would be it. All right, so we found it. Wow, that was a trial. And I'm just looking for their okay, I'm gonna call this phone number and make sure that that's it. Okay, because if it's the mill, I'm gonna get it's just gonna go to their voicemail anyways. I just want to make sure that this is correct. And we solved a mystery of where I'm going to be camping. Yep, it's them. So this is, I'm going to pull this up. Thank you, Priscilla. I believe you're the one who found it. I think, so Doreen, maybe you and I want to do a collaboration where you teach me what I need to be doing about making sure I know where I'm going. I'm just saying, I'm thinking it might be a good idea. So I am going to share the screen with this. All right, so this is it. And I know there are some pictures of different things here. There's waterfall. And oh, hold on. I can't. I'm on a live stream right now. All right, bye. So I'm looking forward to going here and just being away from town. Not that we live in town. I mean, we are in a little suburb. You know what I mean? Anybody who travels, camps, you know what I mean. It's just, I believe this is the area. So they assign you to a space, and they assigned us to the biggest one for some reason. I don't know why. But I do know there's a covered area right there. So that will be really nice. I just want to, since it's so nice and it'll still be nice in our area at that time. I want to have as much time outdoors as possible. I see a lot of water, but I guarantee it's not like that now. Actually, I may even do a recon mission there and drive there and check it out. Hello? Yes, I'm actually. Oh, I thought I did because I said yes. All right. Well, I am on there. All right. Bye-bye. Desert Adventures in Arizona. Thank you for coming by. Glad you're here. Just talking about a camp trip that Richard and I are going on. Nomad Hatters. That would be my niece-in-law and nephew, Billy and Peggy. And that is where my RV is, where they're at. And so we have to get up there and get everything completed so that we could take our RV minus the mice. So I have to tell you guys. So after I finish this with the pictures here, I'll tell you what I found out from them, unfortunately. So this is just some pictures, but I geared this, if this is water that's like in the camping area, like where they're dry, it doesn't exist right now. This is a completely dried area. So this is just northwest of us, within about 30 miles. 30 minutes, 30 miles. I really am looking forward to this. So again, there's only 8 spots. They put us in the biggest one, and there's a covered area, and I'm just very happy and excited to be going. And it'll be good to just get away from the house. Rich, we were out and about on Friday, and it was for a doctor's appointment, by the way, and I was excited. I'm telling you, I was excited to be out of the house because we are conserving because of the price of gas, even though it has come down. I have no illusion that I believe it's going to stay down, and no matter what, it's still highly expensive, very expensive. So, yep, this is where we're going to be going, and I will videotape it. I highly doubt there's any kind of there's not going to be any internet. No internet. So I see coming in, driving into it. Yeah, so that's where we're going. I'm happy. I'm excited. It's a beautiful area. Anybody who got to go, which I didn't get to go, but I do know the area. Anybody who got to go to the meetup last summer up here, you know what that was like. So thank you, Priscilla, for finding it. All right, Priscilla. Well, thank you for coming and hanging out. And I'll give you a call a little while and talk to you about Jennifer a little bit and let you know what's going on. All right, Doreen. Sun for solar. Yes, I know that is the one problem when your solar's on top of your RV, on top of the roof, car, whatever you've got. Yeah, 30 miles. So Brene, last year, that is in the same area that the Oregon meetup happened at, that we could not get to. We had a doctor's appointment every other day of that week and just could not get there. So yes, I am going to go. I was thinking, yeah, it's so close. We'll just pop in the car and go over there. So camp-wise, if you're camping, where you been camping recently? I know, Doreen, that you go to campgrounds because you need to be hooked up, and I need to make sure my dog is not outside. And anybody else doing some interesting camping in places that you never camped before? And I'm going to drop the link again in case anybody would like to talk about what's going on in their channel, where they've been camping, or what's going on at all. News. Everybody needs news. Me too, Doreen. For many reasons, I always, I always like to recon wherever I'm going to be. So the thing about Thousand Trails is you can get a map, and of regular campgrounds, you can generally get a map of the local area, and see like if you need a bathroom, where the bathrooms are or where trailheads are out of the campground. Yes, I know. I did learn that. Sideways, landscape, record on landscape. You're going to the sugar beet harvest in Michigan. Oh, cool. I really will be interested to see how that works out. Really. So, isn't that like start in October though? So we're in August. So, I was thinking that the sugar beet harvest starts in October. That is very interesting. I have to say, that will be a very interesting story. So, Doreen, you ready? Hey there.
I'm like,
Oh, you look fine.
can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, so we're going to do a tutorial. Do you have an Android phone?
Yes.
Okay, go to your Google Calendar.
All right, let me go to my Google Calendar.
This is how I do it because I have lots of trips.
Okay.
Okay, don't tell everybody on here because then you're a target, but pick the date that you're going on this camping trip and tap that date.
Okay.
On your calendar.
All right.
But I would not advertise that ahead of time.
Okay, I got it.
Because there's crazies out there and stuff happens to people.
I know.
Especially in a small campground. I don't mind telling people where I'm going because I have 100 people around me. But you're going to a small campground.
Yep, really.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so you picked your date. You're going to click on that date.
Okay.
And then click on noon. I always just click on noon.
Okay.
Now it says add title. See that?
Yes, I got that.
Okay. Put in the name of the campground.
All right. Got it.
Now underneath that it has the dates and it says all day. And
Right.
like the one I tapped says Friday, August 12th, Friday, August 12th. So you're going to click the second one because it's going to have the same date twice.
Oh, yes.
Click the second one.
Okay, I got
And
it.
that's your end date. That's the day you're leaving to go home.
Uh-huh.
So change that date to the day you're going home and then just put like 1 o'clock or something.
All right.
Make sure it's PM.
Right.
Okay, then also up where you put the campground name at, I always put my site number.
Okay. And I'm going to have to call them to get that information again because
Okay. But you can go in and edit later. Okay, now you keep scrolling and it says add location.
Okay.
That's where you put the address. And when you start typing it, it should auto-complete it for you.
Okay. And it's got a map.
Right, so, and then it says a notification, just by default, it says 30 minutes.
Huh?
I always take that off if it's a camping trip because they don't need to remind me.
Right.
And then default color. All my camping trips are the default color, which comes up turquoise.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can add description if you want to put any notes under where it says default color. And then when you're done, you go up top and hit save.
All right, I've got it saved. So now I can edit as I need.
Now, if you scroll that way, It takes you to the full month. I'm backwards. And it should be on there.
It's there.
Okay, that's how I do all of my appointments with doctors, haircuts, everything. That's where it goes.
Well, then I do that. I do that with those things. I just had not put in. I clearly had not put this in, but it's in there now. So I know.
So now you have your address. Now you have the name of it. If you forget the date or whatever, you can go back in. And now if you click on that, click on it, and then it'll come up with like at the top where it just says the name of it, and then tap it again, and it has the little pencil for edit.
Right.
So if you want to put your site number in, you do that, and then just make sure you always hit save.
Okay.
That's how I keep track of my camping trips.
Well, that's a really good idea. I hope somebody else heard. Now, maybe I'm the only one who didn't do this, but you know, if I had done this the day that I made this reservations, I wouldn't have forgot the name of the place.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, I had 3 rallies last year. Okay, so Kaylee said you can also add the phone number to the reminder, like where you want to put description or something, you can put the phone number. Does it leave the GPS coordinates for you? Let me see. I never have ever in my life used GPS coordinates, so I don't know. I just put the address in my GPS and it takes me there.
Okay, well, let me check.
Okay, so if I click on the address, it opens Google Maps. It doesn't show coordinates. If I click on like the one I'm going to, let me see if you can see. It's probably too bright, but it just shows Google Maps. Now maybe I can also. Traveling Granny said she can add the GPS coordinates.
Okay, well then I'm sure I can. You know, once I look around more, I can add. I can add that. Because I do see the address, I see it on maps, and where the address is correct on maps. So, I
mean, so why do you? I've never, like I said, I've never used GPS coordinates. Why would you use them if you have the address?
I hear some weird sound.
My air conditioner's on. Let me turn it off.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was my computer.
It's going to take a minute to shut off. It's super loud.
Oh, well, normally that wouldn't bother me, but I just thought something was wrong here.
Well, let's see when the air conditioner stops, if the noise stops.
So I think one of the reasons I would use GPS coordinates is to be able to look at maybe different routes to the same, place.
It says once you click on the map location, you should see the coordinates.
So I'm not seeing the coordinates. I'm seeing the map. I'm seeing the place. And I am, but the label, or the coordinates are not on this. They're not here.
Not on mine either.
Now, yeah, it's just not. Now, I also use a different way of tracking my appointments. I use a different. I use where did it go?
Okay, it just shut off. Is the audio better now?
Yes, it's perfect. Yeah, it was just that.
Oh, I guess. So I scrolled up and it says W76R plus Q8 Hiawassee, Georgia. Is that the coordinates?
Yes, probably is the coordinates. I'm looking for the coordinates here. And
No, that's not it. It says plus
no,
code address. Plus code address. Medical choppers use GPS from the air to find you.
hmm.
I don't know. I don't have coordinates showing up.
Huh. Well, I'm not seeing the GPS coordinates on mine either. I was thinking I also use a different uh, calendar. Yes, Kaylee, we should learn. Yeah, you're right. Learn to use the coordinates, but sometimes maybe if it's a remote place, there isn't an address. Like when you go up, like let's say a particular back road may not have a name or a number, like some of the at least here, some of the public lands, the little roads that you go down will have a number, and like P703. Maybe that would be good to have the coordinate in case there was not a number on a road that you needed.
Yeah, I don't even know how to get it on here. I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm not
I
seeing
see
it.
a thing that looks like a cross, and it has a dot at the top, a dot at the bottom, one on each side, and one in the middle. And that's what says W76R plus Q8. I don't know if that's the coordinates because when I click on that, it says plus code. So I don't think that's it.
Okay, well, let me look at something else here. I know where I might look at this in. Well, I've got it on map. I've dropped my GPS coordinates many times, and
I've never done anything with them. Don't know anything about it.
one of the reasons that might be good is like traveling with people, or like my niece and nephew were coming back from out of state, and I was kind of tracking where they were. Just it was going to be late, and so I wanted to just be, no. And I'm surprised I'm not seeing that because so maybe if
Open the Google Maps app on your iPhone or Android phone. Enter the location or select and hold to drop a pin on the map of the location you want the coordinates for. Scroll down to find the coordinates. Tap the coordinates to copy to your phone's clipboard. So maybe it was the plus code?
Here's Google Maps. So I'm just going to put in an address. 123 internet.
Oh, okay. I see it on this picture, but that is not showing up on my phone.
So here's Traveling Granny said this is smart, and this is correct. I use the coordinates when I need to send someone exact location. So that would be, yeah, exactly. The text me the coordinates pin.
So what I saw when I Googled it is not showing up on my phone. When they showed a diagram, does not show up on my phone. So maybe I have to go into settings.
Oh, so this is just a business address here in Eugene, and I typed it into my maps, and I tapped on the little red. I don't know if it's red for you guys, but
Looks like a hot air balloon.
yes. So I tapped on that, and it popped up. I'll do it again.
And it popped up with the coordinates?
Yes, when it's red, it popped up with the coordinates.
Okay, hold on. I want to see if it's a setting on my phone.
I don't think it's a setting. I think it just, so if you just put in a random, like I put in a random address for a place, an area that I know is nothing but warehouse businesses in Eugene. I put in 123 International Way, and it came up, and then I held my finger on the little hot air balloon, we'll call it, and it popped up the coordinates.
Okay, it came up and then it went right off. Oh, it's up top in the search bar now. I see it. Okay.
Yep, right there like that. Doreen?
Yep, that's what mine showed up.
Okay, so that's how you get the coordinates. And because like Fairy Dust is saying right here, like in Joshua Tree, there's no address, maybe. You might be meeting somebody at a park where there's not an address or a location, maybe not even a park. And trusted people. Yes, I always do that, Kaylee.
So I should be able to pin where I am now?
Yes.
It's still showing the last address that I put in.
Here's a good point by Valley Granny. You can use plus codes to identify a specific location to receive deliveries, access emergency and social services, or direct people to a location.
Gosh, I would be like get confused and lose all that and not even think about it. I would be like, I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. Because I'm not used to doing that. So somebody would have to walk me through it, especially if I'm upset and in an emergency situation.
Right. So that would be something to practice over and over. See, I'm a practice over and over. And I don't remember which channel. So this is clear back in our planning phase when someone said, a channel commented that because they're boondockers, and every night or wherever they're someplace new. And so what they would do is they had a board, like a chalkboard, a small chalkboard above their door going out, and they would put the coordinates of where they were every night without fail, because they were boondocking and they were different places all the time. So when they were in someplace new, they would write the coordinates down so that in case of an emergency and the phone wasn't maybe available, maybe the phone broke, the coordinate would always be visually available.
Yeah, so when I worked at the campground, we had on the door, because when the office is closed, you would open it, it said campground address, and it was on the door to the office. So if you had to call 911, it would say, call 911 emergency, give them this address. Okay, so now, because I put my brother's address in to try to do that, it keeps coming back to that address in Georgia, and I can't get it to go where I am.
Well,
and even though I completely closed it out, when I tap on Google Maps again, it's still showing me his house in Georgia.
Okay, so let me check this out. I'm going to click off that, and I'm going to close the map and see if, well, there should be home.
You could send, that's it, Kaylee, you could send that picture of the GPS coordinates to someone. But so my sister-in-law and my son both have me on 360, Life 360. They can see where I am. But it's not exact, because my son and his girlfriend will be in their apartment sitting next to each other, and sometimes it floats her across the street.
We've had
So it says that you have to, maybe if you use Wi-Fi, it's more exact, but it's not exactly exact. Like mine, I have, one of my locations I have in mine is camper, and that's my storage lot. So if somebody is looking for me and, they can't get a hold of me, whatever, if they look on there and it shows that I'm at my camper. So they know, and it's not even, the camper is just it's a storage lot, but it has a house address in the Life 360 that is near the storage lot. So they would know the general area, and you get there, you see campers in storage. Okay, that's where she's at, you know, if they were looking for me. But it still has a flag at my brother's, and I don't know how to get it off.
So I closed everything out and came back on, and then I kind of made the map small. I just made the map small, and that little red spot is my house. So I have that in there as my home, and I am now back to that exact address here. And let me see.
Okay, I clicked on share my location, but how do I unshare it? I don't want to share it. Okay, I have to go in the other room. I'll be back.
Okay. So, well, that was good information that clearly Doreen and I did not have, and that was nice to. But there's other pieces to this that maybe we need to do a general video about, and then do a live stream where people can ask questions about using this tool, because this is a potentially life-saving tool. I think everybody understands that. Yeah, taking pictures of it. So however one has to do it, that would be important, I think, to traveling. Now, we were at one place in Quartzsite, and going there, we were on, my sisters and my nephew, they all had our information. And so, trying to figure stuff out live, it reminds us that we need to learn and practice. Yes. So I'll tell you something that I am working with. So I'm going to do a video about it because I can, because people do videos about self-protection tools on YouTube, and I have a self-protection tool, and it is mine. And I've never used one before. I mean, I've shot before. Okay, I've shot, but it was never mine. And under your location, you will see learn more. Click on it, and it explains everything. Let me see here. And so I am. Let me pull that up. I'm going to do. Oh, yeah, I see that. Okay, so that's important. So I will do that. So I'm going to do a video about it because I've been practicing. I've had this tool for quite a while, for a couple of years, a year and a half, since before a trip. Okay, so it's been about a year and a half. And so I really appreciate that, Tracy, very much. I have 5, so I'll tell you a little bit about that before I leave, before we stop the stream. So Tracy said, under your location, you will see learn more, and click on it. It explains everything. Now, for me, I'm a hands-on learner. I am someone who likes to look at it and do it. Look at it and do it. And I bet you there's many YouTube videos about it, but I may do one. I may be one of those people who needs to do one. Yes, so I have a self-protection tool, and I have just learned, I'm learning how to be responsible for it. It's not just having it, but learning how to be responsible for it, because I've never had one that was just mine or was my responsibility. And so I am learning the responsibility end of it. I know how to take it apart. I can fully take mine apart completely, like completely, everything, and clean it. And I learned that because someone sat with me and made me take it apart. over and over and over again. And so I have learned how to do that. And I'm going to do a video about that. And I know that's not for everybody, and I understand. But I'm going to do a video about that, and I know that we can on YouTube. And so anyway, so did you see that? Do you see it on yours, Doreen, about the what Tracy said?
I see how to get my GPS, my coordinates. Now, how do I pin my location? Because what my son does is he goes out and like, okay, so not my son, but let's just say like Roy from Roy and Becky goes camping. He likes this spot. He pins his location so he can find it again.
Well, you can also hit save. Okay, so that's important. But also you can hit save.
Oh, I see save. Okay.
And I've got a couple different lists like RV parks, family.
Okay.
Favorites. Yeah, camping.
Okay, I got it.
I even have my first camp. My first camp I have saved. So I can go back to that anytime. So yeah, that's a way to save it.
I have to answer somebody. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm co-hosting a rally.
One later in the summer.
In October. It's a fiberglass rally, so it's all fiberglass campers.
Oh, okay.
And me and another lady are co-hosting it because she put up the money last October to reserve the pavilions. It's a state park. So she paid like $105 on her credit card to reserve the pavilions. And then, so we're going to charge $5 per trailer to get the money back to pay her back.
Oh, that's reasonable.
Yeah, so we were figuring it out, and I was doing $5 per person, which gives us like $100 extra. And I said, well, we could either buy firewood for like a group campfire each night, or we can buy door prizes and then give out door prizes. But she said just do $5 per trailer, and then like there's no extra money, and any extra money would go towards like next year or something.
Yeah, that would be nice. So hopefully people will just maybe each trailer bring a load of the get a load of the firewood.
Well, and the thing is that not everybody will come to it. Some will go and split off and have their own little campfire groups. Mm-hmm. You know, it gets a little, I mean, they don't do it to be mean, but there are cliques of people that have known each other for years, and they travel together and they have their own campfires. So they're not going to come like to a group fire. But the first night, and I don't want it to be like the rally I just went to was like there was something almost every hour. You got to have downtime, and you got to have time for people to go visit the local area if they want to go for a hike, or they want to go see a waterfall, or they want to go shopping and find out the nearest like cute little town. So you got to have that. So the first night we'll just have a meet and greet, but we're going to play the game Never Have I Ever. Have you ever played that?
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay. Well, people do it with drinking and stuff, but we do it with pennies. So everybody brings, like, say, Kaylee says, or take a long shower or a nap.
Yeah.
So let's say everybody would bring 20 pennies, and you sit in a circle, and you put a bowl in the middle. And if I say, so something like, never have I ever eaten a Little Debbie cake. Because I never have. It has to be something I have never done.
Yeah.
And if you have, then you have to go out and put a penny in.
Oh, okay.
So you want to try to get people to get rid of their pennies, and the last one with a penny is the winner. So you might say, like, never have I had a prostate exam. Mm-hmm. And every man there, mostly because they're mostly older, most of them are going to have to, or never have I wore a jock strap. And the men would say, never ever have I wore high heels or something. Some of the men get up and put a penny in because they've dressed up for Halloween or something. But that's a good way to get a whole bunch of people to get rid of their pennies real fast.
Yes.
Um,
That would be.
but it's mostly, it stays family friendly and, different things like, I don't know, but you don't want to say like, never have I ever jumped out of an airplane, because hardly anybody has. And you want it to be something that a lot of people have. So that's how you do it. But you go around the circle and everybody takes a turn until the last person has a penny and they're the winner and they get the bowl of pennies.
Right. Well,
And they usually just dump them in a plastic bag and they use them for the next rally because people always come without pennies.
sure.
So
Well, that does sound like a fun game. I mean, it really does. It could go a lot of ways, clearly.
It could. And we try to keep it, you try to keep it because sometimes there's kids there and you don't want to get too personal.
Right.
So, you don't want people to be embarrassed.
Sure.
Like one time somebody said, never have I ever had false teeth. That's a little too personal because not everybody's going to want to get up and put in, yeah, I got false teeth. But yeah. And there's this one guy, he's always out first. He is always out first because he's done it all. And then he just goes up with his hands, and this is after he's out of pennies. He goes up with his hands like it's full, and he just goes like this.
Uh-huh.
Because he said, you name it, he's done it. So, yeah, so the one that's left with pennies is the one that hasn't done much stuff in their lives,
Sure. I
But
know
some-
someone who would win that. I really do. I know she would win.
Yeah, we had one lady, and they said, and it was a really odd thing because only one person went up and put a penny in, so it's not really something you would want to say, but they said, never have I ever done a lap dance. And this lady stood up and she said, do you have to get paid for it? And they said no, and she said, darn it. And she went up and she had to put a penny in. And she said, well, doesn't every woman do that for her husband?
Oh, God, that's cute.
So I will always remember her as the lap dance lady, but you don't really want to say stuff like that. You want to say stuff, that it's going to get a lot of people. Like, I've never played football. I could say, never have I ever played football.
Uh-huh.
And, probably half the people there have, and they're going to get up and put a penny in. So anyway, we're doing that at the meet and greet. And then we'll have a campfire and snacks while we're doing that. And then I'm looking at my paper while I'm saying this. Friday, I think one of the guys said he has a black stone, and some of his friends had a black stone, and he wanted to cook breakfast for everybody. So the guys with black stones would take them up to the pavilion, and they would cook breakfast for everyone.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that would be good. And everybody would bring something, actually. Like we would, somebody might bring bacon and somebody might bring eggs, and it wouldn't be them paying for everything. And then Friday night, we would have a potluck and then a fire. And at 11 o'clock, I don't have to tell you the time. On Saturday morning, we'll do a trailer tour. It's in Tennessee, East Tennessee, near a town called Jonesboro. But that's a small town. I don't know if you've heard of that. Johnson City. A trailer tour, which, I just put out a video for the teardrop rally. And what the host did is what we normally do at the vintage rallies is we just have open house. So you just walk around as you feel like it. But I like what they did at the teardrop rally, and you got 5 minutes at each camper, and the whole group walked together. So let's say we start with your camper. You have 5 minutes. Tell us about your camper. Everybody looks at it. The group is all there together. Then we leave your camper, and you come with us, and we go to the next one, and the next one has 5 minutes. And then if they have questions, they can come back later. But that way, everybody gets to see everybody's camper, and everybody gets to hear, the little thing about them. This is actually the one I'm co-hosting is Fiberglass Camper Rally, like Scamps and Casitas and My Camper and things. But there is one girl that's going, that's a friend of mine. She has a vintage camper. And then the following weekend at the same campground is the vintage rally, and we'll be doing the Never Have I Ever again at that one. And so I'm staying there for 10 days.
Oh, wow.
Because it's 2 weekends in a row at the same campground. One weekend the fiberglass rally, the next weekend the vintage rally. And last year I stayed 9 days. This year I'm staying 10. It's 35 minutes from my house. If I need something, if the weather's bad in between, like during the week, if the weather gets really bad, I just come home. Leave the camper there. You know, you can leave. I mean, there's so many people around. It's not like you're leaving your camper out in the wilderness, you know.
Yeah. It does make it doable when it's that close, like as close as we're going to be. Although we don't want to, I can tell you, we don't want to be driving back before we need to in our RV. But if we needed something or whatever, there's enough people in my family that would bring it to us.
Well, no, the one I just went to, I got there on Thursday at 12:30. I didn't leave the campground. My car did not move until I left on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
You need to practice that one. Practice that one, Lucretia. You take everything with you that you need, and if you forgot something, you can usually do without it.
Now you're just being mean, Doreen.
Now, I have went camping where I forgot to take the meat out of my freezer. I grabbed everything I had it all planned out, and I took like the stuff out of the refrigerator, but walked out and forgot the meat out of the freezer. And it all worked out because I had an extra salad, or somebody invited me over for dinner or something, you know, and I have forgotten salad dressing twice, and I've taken salad stuff, forgot salad dressing. One time I went door to door asking, and somebody had salad dressing. And the other time, a friend of mine, when I said that, that was just a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, I forgot my salad dressing. She said, we got some, don't worry about it. Because I was going to go to the store and get it. And, you know, the first time when I went door to door, I didn't know the people that had it. They were just like, you know, it's a campground. Everybody's friendly. And you're just like, hey, you got any salad dressing? And, you know.
Yeah.
The greasy wheel, what is it? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So
That's right.
I'm not afraid to ask. But, you know, I don't panic and say, oh, I got to run to the store. I mean, you can, like, open your cabinet. You got a can of beans and some rice. Make some food, you know. If I forgot to take, I have taken oatmeal and forgot the milk for the oatmeal. The guy next to me had milk. I was like, can I get a little, you know, you'd only need a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Rich, so
I don't like to leave once I get there.
Two things. Richard and I have been, when I do our oatmeal, when we're having oatmeal, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I use water. I started using water in it because I use butter at the end. I put butter in. So that kind of works for the creaminess that milk does. And then secondly, so when that's where I kind of have overcome the need, because I mean, I would use milk or half and half when I've had half and half in it. And so secondly, if I do need milk, one of the things that I've started doing in my preparedness is I have powdered milk, which also is another big deal. I can't believe I have, because I remember when my mom used to always have powdered milk available. And I thought, I always thought, there's, you know, why do you get that? That's just for poor people, Mom, you know, and having a mom that went through the Depression, you know, she was part of the Depression, a child of the Depression. Of course she thought like that, and she had 6 kids. So she made
So I have oatmeal pre-measured out in a snack size Ziploc bag, and I have like 5 of them in my camper. And then it's the instant where you just add water and you microwave it. But I always add a little bit of milk, and I forgot to take some. But it's there. I'm just saying, like, if you forgot something, don't run out. Just like, don't run out to go get it. Just say, hey, what else do I have? What else can I do here?
That's
you
true.
know.
Learning to be flexible.
Most people, when they go to a campground, they like to explore the area and see what's around there. But I'm not a shopper and I'm not a hiker, so I'd be just happy sitting right there by the campfire. You know, because I'm there to camp. I'm not there to be a tourist. I'm there to camp.
Right.
But that's probably unusual. most people leave, like on Saturday, you'll see the campground will be like empty. Everybody's out all doing, like the one I just went to was in Virginia, and this one couple went out for the whole day and they went to Roanoke and they explored all this stuff at Roanoke, and they went to Camping World and looked at all the stuff in there and looked at campers, and not to buy, but just for something to do.
Uh-huh.
What I just stayed at the campground, so I got to do the crafts, and we had different things going on. And I think they missed the potluck dinner too because they didn't get back in time. But
Oh.
I just like to relax. I don't want to leave.
So I think I got antsy because at that point, we were used to going places and doing things. I would be a little bit more relaxed now, more than likely, and I have better ideas preparing, making sure we have what we're going to need. And so that, I think, this time around, this is no big deal because it's just for a few days. But when we do get to go again for a longer stretch, I would do it differently. Although I can't imagine going back out with not having a car, with just my Class C. Honestly, I can't imagine not having a vehicle to do things, like go to the store, whatever, to be able to just go visit things, do some sightseeing. I don't want to do that much. Let me tell Kaylee something here. Yes.
Yeah, if you're there long term, that's important.
I do have a Blackstone. My nephew and his family are all using that. They're living off grid. They're full-time living off grid on this ranch where they're doing kind of gatekeeping, so to speak, there. Although they have horses and they might be doing some other stuff up there. So they're using it. But that's where it's at right now. And
how are you going to go camping when they're using your camper?
Oh, they're not using the camper. It's stored there. There is a barn there.
Okay.
So it's stored there. Yeah.
Let me tell you, I have people that comment on my videos and they're so upset about that I call something a camper that back in the day was a mobile home that people lived in. And they say, please stop calling this a camper. And they get very, very upset. And I just want to say to them that, no, I won't say what I was going to say. It's not a bad word. It's just, it would be something controversial. But in other words, I say to them, that may be true. And this is what I said, that may be true. But today it's being used as a camper.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what my thought was identifying as, like, that's what I was going to say. It's identifying as a camper. It's not that bad to say that, but I said, you know what? I call them all campers. I call the motorhome, the fifth wheel, the teardrop, the mobile home. If they're camping in it, I call it a camper. And it doesn't matter what it was used for in the 50s. Today, it's a camper because people are hooking it up and they're traveling with it and they're taking it from rally to rally. Yeah, Kaylee, they get really upset. Traveling Granny says she calls her car her camper. Yeah, and I don't name my campers. I just call them the camper. So,
I would call them a camper too.
Yeah, but they get, like the one that I just posted, the big blue one. The really long, and it says, and I tagged it, I titled it Vintage Mobile Home. And I tagged it Vintage Mobile Home because I know that's what it was. It was a house. It's a house trailer. Like the one from the Long, Long Trailer.
Yeah.
That Lucille Ball had. That was a house trailer. Even in the movie, they were camping in it. They were traveling with that and camping in it. But these people get so upset.
I'd call that a camp. I mean, I would probably call it a trailer, but I mean, because when I think of a camper, I think of like on the back of a truck. And so that's what I visually, just my own culturally, I see that as a camper. But I do know that our Class C is a camper. I now kind of identify anything somebody's living in or utilizing to camp in is their camper.
And some people would say that your Class C is not a camper, it's an RV.
Yes,
So,
I do. Yeah.
but it's like, and I very rarely use the word trailer, but now, like, I went in and edited that video to put trailer instead of camper.
Mhm.
So, because I get so many comments like that, and some people I just have to block them.
Yes. Over
You
that
know,
kind of stuff,
I
I would block them.
I have a video on a cooler. It's the one from Walmart that is a copy of the Yeti. And I wasn't happy with it. And I showed the video. Actually, it was the weekend I broke my wrist. And I did a video and I showed how much water was in it just the next day. And I had somebody, and I know that this person came from one of two channels that are outdoor channels, not RV channels. And said something about I was supposed to pre-cool it or something. Well, if I pay $80 for a cooler, I don't want to have to pre-chill it. But what they're saying is you're taking I get what they're saying because I had read about it, but you're taking a cooler and they want you to put ice or something in it ahead of time to make it cold before you put your food and ice in it. So anyway, I don't know. I might have said thanks for watching. Sometimes I just say thanks for watching and I let it go,
Yeah.
But then he wrote me back. He wrote another comment and he used the B word twice in his comment. So I just blocked him from the channel. He was saying that I was complaining, but he used the other word for complaining. And it was about a cooler. Like, really? Does it matter? And I just, you just wrote that. Yeah, that was probably one that it might have came from. That one or another one is what it came from, I think. But anyway, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. People have different takes on things. And when I think camper, I think of what's on the back of a truck. Kaylee thinks camping tent, although that kind of comes up for me too, because I never camped. I only camped a couple times. And so Richard and I had our first thing was a tent. Our second camping item was on the back of one of the small Toyota trucks, a camper on the back of a small Toyota truck. I am not. Trust me, I'm too claustrophobic to be in the back of a camper on the back of a small, tiny Toyota truck. And so we got rid of that very quickly. I did it twice, maybe even just once. And I'm like, no, not again. I don't like it. I'd rather camp in a tent. I'd rather camp in a tent. So anyway.
The tent you can stand up and move around. But yeah, there are people that get really upset too, Kaylee, when you say that you're camping and you're in a fifth wheel, a 40-foot fifth wheel, and they say that's not camping. And I've said that myself. I still call it a camper, but I might say that's not camping if they're just parked and they're inside the whole time. Kind of camping to me is like sitting outside, let's have a campfire. A lot of people, they're traveling, they're not camping.
So let me tell you, one of my friends, and she's been on here and I've interviewed her, Kim from Rometown Girl. Kim likes to camp. And she has a Class C, bigger than ours, newer than ours, very nice Class C, and she's full time. But she said, I like my outdoors from the inside looking out. I mean, she does, and although she does go out and she is doing a little more outside, but she's not a going hiking kind of girl. She's not going out in the wilderness hanging out. No, but she likes to go boondocking, and like she boondocked with us. She's not big about sitting around the fire. So I've had to learn, but then I wasn't this time around either. I didn't sit around as much as I thought I would, but I did at the end, towards the end. I just really because I injured myself right off the bat, had some extra issues. So let's see what Charlotte says here. Like you or I think of what is on the back of a truck or camper. Everyone has the right to call whatever. Yeah, exactly. And
and that's what I told this person the other day. I said the owner of that camper, of that trailer, has a right to call it whatever they want. And if they want to call it a camper, they can call it a camper. And he said no. But this is a fact. If you look up the history of it, this is what it was. And as I said, that may be, but now it's being used as a camper.
Right.
But I get a lot of comments from people that say they grew up living in one of those, or their parents grew up living in one of those, and it is not a camper. And they get really upset.
Oh, that's interesting. There's many things I don't mind getting upset about. What somebody calls the mode of their trick camping I'm just not one of them. It just seems so ridiculous to me to get upset about that, but I'm not everybody. All right, well, I'm going to be ending this, so I'm going to drop you down, but I'm so glad you came up. It's been so long since we sat and talked, and I'm glad you had a question. We got to learn something that it's a skill. So in preparedness, one of the things, I'll just say this, in preparedness, it's not about hoarding necessarily, or it's never about hoarding. It's not about these big stockpiles necessarily. Another piece is learning a new skill or how to use a new tool. So that's important, learning how to use a compass, whatever. So I was glad I got to learn how to do that, a little more about that tool.
Okay, did you want that website dropped for a reason?
Yes. Okay, so if somebody could drop the Woman Outdoors, I would appreciate it, because she is, I really like her channel. It's also a place where people who can make a connection there. And it's a very responsible way. It's learning how to make that connection with other campers, or there's even some other channels, and I've been there a couple times, and I really like her.
I like her too. She's super nice. She does hip camp. Have you ever looked into that? She does hip camp, and she goes to those, I don't know if you saw her video, she stayed in this little tiny cabin that was like you had to duck to go in, and it was the middle of winter and snow outside, and so she does some interesting things like that. She's really nice. I really like her.
Yeah, I like her too.
And so, tell you something else, and I forgot what it was.
If you don't know, go there. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did you see the bike that I just got on my community tab?
I have not seen it. I'll check
Okay,
it out.
so it's on my community tab, and it's from Italy, and it's a vintage folding bike, and it's turquoise.
Oh, I did see it, yes.
And it was in Stone Mountain, Georgia, which is like 4 hours away from me. And I saw this Ruth and Adrian, who had them. Paula had them on her channel, and she interviewed them. And they had been watching my videos anyway, and they said, they would love to go to a rally. And I said, well, I'm going to this one in Hiawassee, Georgia, and it's actually the end of this month. And they don't live too far from there. They're full-timers, but they have like a RV spot where they go when they're not traveling around, like a home base.
Yeah.
And so I said that I was maybe coming down there after the rally in Hiawassee, because it would be, I'd be partway there. So he offered, her husband travels for work, and he goes to Stone Mountain once a week, and he offered to check it out for me.
Oh.
So they went and checked it out, and we talked about, try to get the price down, stuff like that. I know what's wrong with the bike. It needs some work, but they got it for me, and then I sent the money on Zelle and paid them back and gave them some gas money. And so now it's in their storage unit, and then they made a reservation at the vintage rally, even though they don't have a vintage.
No.
And because there's other campers at the campground, it's a huge campground. So they're going to meet up with me there and give me the bike. And so I have to wait a few weeks for it. And then I will go from there to my brother and sister-in-law's house where I finished up all the work on my camper. My sister-in-law helped me, and she knows how to rebuild vintage bikes, and she's got all kinds of parts and stuff. So I'm gonna go there and stay at the lake again for 3 nights, and they're 15 minutes away from the lake, and we're gonna get the bike fixed up. So that'll be coming. So I'm really excited about that.
Cool. We have just about 15 minutes from me. We have a lake. It's a reservoir, Fern Ridge Reservoir, but they charge about $45 a night for RV camping.
This is $13 a night, and you're right next to the water. I can lay in my bed and watch the sailboats go by.
Oh,
But if you have the America the Beautiful pass, you got one, right?
I do not have one.
Oh, well, you can get one free because you have a disability.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So you can get it free. You just need a note from your doctor. And then because it was $26 a night for electric and water, and I got it for $13 a night.
Oh, that would be great. I'm gonna actually pulled up.
Corps of Engineer Park. It's a Corps of Engineer.
Okay.
Definitely get that pass. America the Beautiful pass. Look that up.
Okay, I will.
It's lifetime and it's free for you. All right, I'll drop down. See ya.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that was really fun. It's been a while. It's been quite a while. And like I said, I miss the RV community. I spend 90% of my communication right now is with the preparedness community, because it takes time to make those connections, and it's a little different of a community, very different of a community. And so, but they're all really cool. Linda's Prepper Kitchen, I love that lady. She's got good recipes. She's a down-to-earth person. I'm trying to get her on here for an interview because I'd like to talk to her about, how she came into preparing, what brought her into wanting to do that, and then getting into YouTube in and of itself, because there's some commitment in YouTube. I mean, either people expect you to be there, which is not a bad thing, and then you don't show up. It's kind of like why I went ahead and I did today. I knew there was something that we could talk about, and we've been here for over 2 hours. And it's national park. Yeah, I actually have, when she reminded me of that, which I have forgotten to do, I pulled it up on my computer, and so I will take care of that this week. But I don't know, because I'll tell you what, if this place out here near us, which is like a straight shot, I literally have to make, get onto my main street here. So it's one left and a right, and 8 miles. And it's right there, 8 miles from my house. I used to ride it when I was a teenager on my bike. So Victoria May, hello. We're just getting ready to end, but thank you. I'm glad you're here. So I wanted to tell you, so I'm going to be doing a video here shortly. As I said, I have a self-protection tool. It is a small gun. It's a 22 semi-automatic, and I have learned how to use it, not just shoot it. I've learned how to take it apart. I've learned how to clean it. I've learned how to put it back together. There was a time when 2 times I literally put the bullets in the clip backwards. I put them in backwards. I know quite a few people who are they've used a gun a lot. They do not know how I got them in backwards. I'll tell you how I got them in backwards is because my nature is to force things. I just make it happen. That's how I've always done my whole life. And I did that with this too. And what I learned is anytime with a weapon that can kill people, including yourself, you make sure that you know what you're doing. And I've been out shooting. I know that's not a big deal for me. But it was embarrassing. I will be honest, it was embarrassing to say I have a gun that I want for my own self-protection and my family, and I don't know how to put the bullets in correctly. I now know how to do it, and I now have a way to remember it that I will never forget. It's so simple. And I wanted to learn how to take it apart. I can do everything. So I'm going to do a video because I think there's women who might have them or want to get one. And I'm a good example of somebody who, you know, had to really, really had to learn. It wasn't enough to say, I couldn't really have gotten hurt by it, but still, it was wrong. And I guess I could have gotten hurt or it completely would have jammed up if because I only obviously plan, you know, other than for target practicing, it's for safety. And all I could say is, I think it will be good for people who are learning something like that. And I can openly say, I put the bullets in backwards, people. And so now I know how to do it. And I feel really good about that. I'm just saying, I feel really good about that. And so does everybody who knows me, who knew I had one, you know, they feel much better. All right. So this has been fun. And I think you'll see it. You'll see if I'm going to make a change here shortly. Possibly going to 2 videos or 2 live streams a week. One will just be a chit chat or a game or something, and the other one a topic oriented video, and then a live stream afterwards, like what I've done the last couple of weeks. So anyways, I am so grateful y'all showed up, and I hope you are having a good summer. I did go to the doctor. I'll tell you any updates I got. I went to the doctor. It was my cardiologist. It was an update, you know, kind of like a checkup. I no longer need to go to the cardiologist. What he thought was wrong with me is not wrong with me. I have 0 cardiac restrictions, none. I'm good. He actually feels like my heart is extremely strong. I have all these extra beats, likely because I have this really strong heart from what he's looked at. And yeah, I'm really glad you were here, Doreen. I'm glad we got to talk. And so that came out really well. And I'm very happy about that. Still struggling with the back issue. And I'm in physical therapy twice a week or once a week. It feels like twice a week for my legs, because the injuries I got after my knee replacements, the knee replacements are golden. I wish to God I would have had them years ago, and I likely wouldn't be in this situation. But then I got an injury after each knee replacement to the lateral quads, which weakened my legs. So anyways, I'm going to physical therapy for that. And then to strengthen my legs. And trust me, it's not an easy task. The day after physical therapy, I'm usually in bed the whole day, and it's that painful to my back. And she's really trying, she's been my physical therapist since my first back surgery 11 years ago. And every time that I've need physical therapy, Carla has been my therapist, and she's fantastic. And so she knows how to do manipulation, do it kind of differently, the same outcome in a simpler way. And so she's working with me, and I feel very safe with her. So anyways, that's it for me. Richard does not have lung cancer. There was a possibility he did. He's had the CAT scan. He does not have lung cancer. He still does have the COPD, but that's a different animal, and it is not lung cancer. And thank you for dropping her link. Thank you very much. Very, very, very happy Doreen was here and we got to spend time with her. So anyways, that's what's going on. That's kind of where we're at. And we are coming up to fall. It's coming closer than it isn't. And so I'm just glad to be here. Yeah, I was worried too. I was very worried. He's been outside doing some work recently. This week, he's been doing some outdoor work. He knows when to quit, kind of. So, yeah, I said Capper. And yeah, I said Capper. Good one, Kaylee. Me too. All right, guys. Well, you have a great rest of your evening and week. And I'll see you around the community sometime soon in the next few days, hopefully. And then likely sometime this week, but we'll wait and see. So anyways, have a great day. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we love you guys and we appreciate you so much. I don't even have adequate words. So thank you for coming, showing up. Bye-bye.